Okay, everybody, we're back. Brand new week here on the Cabral Concept. So glad to have you here. How we start every week with our Mindset and Motivation Monday, because we can know all of the best plans, the best blueprints, the best protocols. But what we need is the actual inspiration and motivation that leads to the discipline to complete the action steps that we know will lead us to a better and brighter future. So what I want to share with you here today are 3 underrated moves that I've added to my life now for well over 10 years that have been game changers. They're simple, they're straightforward, there's almost nothing to them except that they reset the nervous system. And sometimes that is what enables us to get to that next level, is the calming of fight or flight. So a few years back, I did a podcast called The 3 Anchors. I believe everybody needs 3 anchors per day, unless you're already happy-go-lucky and living the life. And that's amazing if you are. But if you are a hard charger, a high performer, a higher stress individual, not necessarily in a bad way, what we want to do is always come back to center, right? Come back into the heart, solar plexus, and gut, rather than always in our head. So that podcast from a few years back, I'm going to link up here today at stephencabral.com/3692. That's the 3 anchors that everybody needs to connect with in their day. And what I'm going to do is give you a little bit of a semblance around that. So it simply means, what can you do? We're talking about, I always ask for that 10 minutes. I'm only asking for 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, how can we now get that at 3 specific points during the day? First one's going to be ideally before you start your day. I'm going to give you mine in just a moment. And the second one is going to be either pre-lunch or just after, and there are reasons for both, and I'll share that. And the last one is going to be, what do we do to calm the central nervous system, the fight or flight based hormones and neurotransmitters before bed, so that we can get true rejuvenation overnight. All right, so let's dive right into it. So what I want to share with you is this, that what I share as my personal 3 moves for the day are going to be different than yours. And here's why. We don't all respond to the same things as relaxing. I was actually just doing an amazing interview on a cancer-based podcast, and I shared with them, listen, for me, you could tell me an hour and a half before bed to do an Epsom salt bath. And that is an incredibly relaxation-based and great healing modality for many people. For me, not so much. Why? I don't enjoy taking baths. So is it for me going to be relaxing? No, because I would dread it. I wouldn't look forward to it. I wouldn't find it overall that relaxing. And so for me, that's not the best thing. I'll share what I do in the evenings just a little bit later. So all that to say is that you need to find an activity that calms your nervous system. But how do you know if your nervous system is being calmed? Well, there's 2 ways to do it. You can do it the technical way. The technical way would be to put on a polar heart rate strap monitor like the H10. All my favorites are at stephencabral.com/resources. Again, choose whatever you want. You can go to Amazon, you can go to your local sporting goods store, but you need a heart rate strap monitor, and then you can get a free app like the Elite HRV app. And you can actually look at your HRV in real time. And any activity that it causes your heart rate variability to go up by at least 50 to 100%, that means basically doubling your HRV, is something that is relaxing to you. So that's the technical way. Now, the non-technical way is, do you feel your heart rate come down? Do you feel at peace? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel a sense of enjoyment? If you do, that's good enough. That works, right? So now let's dive into it. You'll know what works for you. And I'm going to give you a couple examples. So every single morning I get up and I do the same thing. I simply walk towards my bathroom. Now, my wife and my 2 daughters, they get the nice bathroom, right? That's their bathroom. They have 2 different sinks. They get to use all that. I'm joking, of course, but I'm relegated to my office bathroom. Now, of course, I'm grateful to have that, but it works for me. It's a small bathroom. It's my own little space. My girls get to do their thing. It's amazing, but it's also quiet, right? So I'm on the other side. I go there and I simply get ready for the day. Now, I ease into the day. I'm not speeding through a shower or anything like that. I'm usually listening to something motivational that I enjoy. That's how I start my day. Start my day relaxed. Believe me, I've got plenty to be stressed about later in the day. And so then after that, my daughters have gotten ready. My wife is getting the kids ready, all those great things. I see if they need any help. I'm there to basically, be a dad. I'm joking around with my daughters. I'm trying to, get them to have a nice start to the day, right? Trying to have them ease into the day. And that's always a lot of fun. They leave the house right about 7:30 a.m. That's the schedule, maybe 7:25, maybe 7:20, but no later than 7:30. I've already started my breakfast. I'm getting it prepped while getting them ready, helping them get ready. Of course, they're older now. They can take care of themselves. And then when they leave by 7:30 a.m., house is quiet, right? And so this is just what's working with my schedule. At that time, I have a 10-minute, it's not long, to 15-minute breakfast and coffee. That's basically it. So it's like a very simple, quiet time anchored by me getting to relax, sit down, and just enjoy 10 minutes of just quiet, probably with my dog Bachi. So just relax. That's it. That's all that it is. That's anchor number one, the calm before the storm, I always call it, right? Because after that, what am I going to do? Get on calls for my walk and talk. Right after that, I leave the house and I'm walking and I'm doing calls with my team. That's what I do, starting at 8 a.m. at the very latest, usually 7:45. Okay, so that's then starts my day. Look at my Slack messages, not check email yet, but Slack is where our team congregates. So I'll answer all the questions that may have come in overnight because we have team members on East Coast, West Coast, all that. And I turn my phone off messages at a certain time. So now it's time to answer those again. But that's the calm before the storm, 10, 15 minutes. That's it. Anchor myself, set myself. What am I doing for the day? Okay, good. Breathe, relax. And then enjoy my half decaf coffee and we're off to the races, right? I had my breakfast. Okay. So then what do? Well, I work for, what's it going to be? 4 hours to 5 hours. And then it's break time again. That break is my lunch. Now, for many people, I recommend a little bit of breath work or relaxation before lunch. And that's so that they can turn off fight or flight so they can better digest. Really important, right? So that would allow them to better absorb the nutrients that they're eating. What do? I have already done my walk for the day. So I'm not going to necessarily go for a walk. I'm not necessarily going to do some breath work, although I will, but I've just gotten good over the years of being able to reset my nervous system. I've did that because literally working 16 hours a day in a wellness center, 40 hours seeing people, 40 hours basically managing 2 different centers, I had to turn off that nervous system, relax, reset quickly. Just even in between really hard patient cases, right? That's hard for a doctor listening, obviously not as hard as the patients. I totally get it. But, there's a lot going on between appointments. People are sick. They're dealing with really heavy things. And I need to be like, okay, we got it. We're going to help that person. Now we're going to help the next person and be able to reset. It's really important for a practitioner. Okay. So what am I doing at lunch? For me, I love to be able to read. So I'm doing a little bit at lunch. And then I'm doing a little bit before bed. We'll talk about the bedtime in just a moment. So I like to read. I like quiet time. So I'm working and speaking all day long. That's basically what I do. I work, I talk, I answer questions, whether it's for a team, coaches, podcasts, you name it. That's what I do. And I love it. So don't get me wrong. I get to enjoy what I do, but it's a lot and it can be draining. That's why I support myself in every way possible, right? But during lunch, I get quite a little quiet time and I get to read. Sometimes it's research. A lot of time lately it's research, but I'm get to just literally just look at the research and say, okay, wow, that's interesting. To me, that's enjoyable. I know that's not enjoyable the most. That's why I said bioindividuality. Me looking at the latest breakthroughs is actually exciting. I don't know why, but that's the way that it is. It is. Or I'll listen to a podcast on breakthroughs, research, all sorts of different technology, et cetera, that I very much enjoy. Okay. So that's lunch. What your lunch me, I don't know. For me, it used to be when I was working my 2 wellness centers, I would leave every single lunch, literally leave at 12:30, appointment ended. I would walk. It would take me 15 minutes to get to one of my local areas, Whole Foods, Sweet Greens, Dig In, wherever I could get a good, healthy meal. Like that's where literally I was going for lunch. I got out of the office, even if I literally said I would always walk unless it was raining sideways. And so I brought an umbrella, I did whatever I needed to and just walked. And that's what I did. Walking enabled me to reset the nervous system, different sights, different sounds, switches modes. And I would always put on a podcast, It would take my mind off of whatever I was just working on. Sometimes it was comedy. Okay. So that's what I did. I ate, then I walked back and I always called it day 2. Then I would start my next shift. And that would be 6 hours to 7 hours or so. And so that was that. So again, different times in your life, different things. Maybe it's going for a walk, maybe it's going to exercise, whatever it might be for you. And then an evening, how do we then shut off any stress of the day. So I've got two things. One, I literally work out now. I used to not, but I work out almost every day now except Sunday. And all I do is alternate weight training and then cardio, weight training, then cardio. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday for me is weight training. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is cardio. That's just what I do. And what it does though, at the end of my workday, it enables me to, so I heard an amazing quote. I've shared it before on the show, but if you work with your mind, then play with your hands. Meaning like, if you do mind-based work, right, at a desk, at a computer, you need to somehow exhaust your body. Now, I don't mean literally exhaust it, your nervous system, but you need to work your body so that you can then turn off your mind. If you get into your body and out of your head, it's amazing what it can do for relaxing your nervous system and then helping you sleep at night. So for me, I get a better night's sleep if I exercise. Now, keep in mind, my workouts are 30 to 40 minutes. I'm not trashing my body in any way, shape, or form because one, I want to do it every day, except Sundays. And the other is I want to do this for the next 50 years. So I have to be smart that it can't wear out my joints in my body. So 30 minutes weight training Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 30 to 40 minutes cardio on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And actually I do an hour of cardio on a Saturday because it's a Saturday, right? I can do it before my daughters are up. So that's what I do, but I have an evening routine. So that means after dinner to really, this is done on purpose. And I just want to share one more point to this. In the morning, I go for my walk to see the sun, to get some blue light, to naturally raise my morning hormones. And then at night, I take my dog for a walk. Not a long walk, 10 minutes, right? That's it, 15 minutes max. What do? It's either sun is setting or it's already set. And so my eyes, which are then connected to the pineal gland in the brain, say, oh, it's dark out. Turn off cortisol, start to begin to produce melatonin, get ready for a good night's sleep. And by the time I come in, I've already turned off all the LED lights and I've turned on all the amber lights. My wife obviously does a great job at this. Put on your salt lamps, all those different types of things. We've got salt lamp light bulbs. And so that's what enables us to then turn off that blue light. And I've put blue light tape over all blue light devices. I'm sure drive my wife crazy, but like thermostat in the bedroom, bathroom area, I literally taped, which is not the prettiest thing, but it's blue light blocking tape because I don't want to have to wake up. If I wake up during the middle of the night to use the bathroom or whatever it might be, I don't want that blue light shining in my eyes. So that is off. So those are my anchors. And so what I would say for you is they probably sound maybe not so enjoyable to you, right? And I totally get that. What I would say is what works for you. And when I work with my private clients and same with my coaching team, we design your perfect day and we say, what works for you for those three anchors? Because it only needs to be 10 minutes. But that 10 minutes goes a long way to improving your heart rate variability and relaxing your nervous system, which then leads to better hormone production. And it also then leads to better sleep. And all of those things, of course, lead to a better health span and lifespan. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, I'm always able to and want to answer your questions. Feel free to leave those in the comments. And as always, if the show was helpful, do feel free to share these with anyone you believe it may serve. All right, take care, everybody. I'll talk with you tomorrow on a brand new Cabral Concept.